Hello everybody, Ryan here, or MandRproductions, and welcome to the worst to first of every LEGO Star Wars 2018 set. We'll be going through 3 different categories of sets: buildable figures, polybags, and promos, and finally the actual LEGO sets themselves. I've separated these to make it a little bit easier to rank them. If you guys do enjoy the video, give it a like. Unless the COPA Act takes that possibility away, let me know if I got anything wrong or right in the comments section below. Unless COPA takes that away, I can't tell the future, and if you're watching this 2 months from now, it might be completely different. Anyway, let's get started. We have buildable figures up first. The worst buildable figure of 2018 me was Han Solo. I mean, this is just an egregiously terrible looking buildable figure. To be fair, none of the humanoid buildable figures from LEGO looked very good. Like, the face just never really clicked with anybody. The Range Trooper was alright, although he looks a bit bulky to me. It's a passable buildable figure, but this one was also on clearance a lot. The middle of the pack for buildable figures, number 3 out of 5, is going to be Darth Maul here. He is a humanoid buildable figure that does look good. It's probably the face paint and the horns that make him look good, but the double-bladed lightsaber is a nice addition as well. Our second best buildable figure of the year is going to be the Darth Vader figure. This one had the helmet that could actually be popped off to reveal Darth Vader's face underneath, which actually looked good enough to me. His chest plate looks amazing, just an overall amazing character that they put together for the buildable figure here in 2018 of Darth Vader. This one was actually preceded by a 2015 version. It didn't look quite as good. I feel like I'm praising buildable figures. This is wrong. Finally, the best buildable figure of 2018 was Boba Fett. This guy is actually I bought one, alright? Let's just say that. I don't buy a lot of the LEGO Star Wars buildable figures, at least I didn't when they were for sale, but I bought one of these, and he is just very charming looking. He's got the perfect Mandalorian look. He's got an awesome blaster with the integrated spring-loaded shooter, so no complaints about this Mandalorian, or Boba Fett rather, buildable figure. I got Mandalorian on the mind, alright? As far as polybags and promotions for 2018, the worst one of the year had to be the black VIP card. I mean, this was a complete debacle. I made quite a few videos on this, I feel like, back in 2018, and the promo, I guess, was decent, but it's just kind of a boring build, and it has a terrible exclusive minifigure. The only thing exclusive about it is that torso print. Thanks, but no thanks, LEGO. Next up, the AT Hauler, which was a nice concept, but I don't think it really translated well to the mini universe of LEGO Star Wars. Just not fitting my vibe there. The mini Imperial TIE Fighter looks good at first, but to me, the wings are just a little bit too far away from the body. Like, if they were moved in by, like, a stud, it would really help this one look a lot better, but to me, this TIE Fighter just didn't look right. Next up, BB-8. BB-8 looks good, just not quite as round as would be perfect, I suppose. Just one of those things that just can't translate to such a small LEGO build. But overall, a nice little promo for May the 4th, although a lot of people wanted a minifigure. Speaking of minifigures, we got the DJ minifigure, which we didn't get in a LEGO Star Wars set, which I thought was really good. And also, the Kessel Mine Worker was a really awesome figure that we didn't get in a set, but we did get as a little promo character with the stand. Fourth best promo of 2018 going to be the Han Solo Mudtrooper. I thought this one was especially creative, and I thought it was nice because it didn't come in a set that they were able to get this one out in some form. Next up, Kylo Ren Shuttle. This was the second mini Kylo Ren Shuttle they had made within like a 5-year period, and I thought it was really cool to see them actually go back and fix what was wrong with the first one. They made it all black. They added in the ability for the wings to fold out. It's just a really good model overall. The second best promo of 2018 goes to the Kessel Run Millennium Falcon cockpit, which was a con exclusive, and it was a cool con exclusive for sure. I mean, it didn't have any exclusive prints or minifigs or anything, but the build was just something neat and unique that as an adult collector you could definitely show off as something that's fun. Finally, the best LEGO Star Wars promo of 2018 to me was the Darth Vader Chrome Pod. Now, this was canceled until it wasn't. I mean, a lot of people thought this was never coming out, and then it did in 2018, thankfully, because I really wanted one of these. It includes Darth Vader. It's got basically the hallway of the Tantive 4, and then you have the chrome pod on the outside to encase him. I just think this is one of the cooler promos for LEGO Star Wars ever, and it topped the list for 2018 for me. Let's go ahead and get on to the actual LEGO Star Wars sets for 2018, though, starting with the worst set of the year. The advent calendar. I was not very happy with this advent calendar. The only things that really appealed to me in this calendar were the Death Trooper, Cloud City, the Imperial Transport, and the General Grievous Starfighter were all pretty nice, but other than that, there was nothing really appealing to me in this set. Our next set is the First Order ATST, and this is by far one of the worst LEGO Star Wars sets ever. Honestly, it probably should be ranked lower than the advent calendar. I just kind of threw the advent calendar at the back because it's an advent calendar and it doesn't really compare to the rest of what we have here, but the First Order ATST is an absolute atrocity. It's got some of the worst figures I've seen. I did not want Finn and Rose in their First Order outfits. The Captain Phasma's nice. BB-8 you can't complain about, but those two figures really irked me. The little elevator thing is weird too, and then of course you have a headless ATST just to cap that all off. If the minifigures and the little elevator weren't weird enough for you, you have a headless ATST. Okay, let's just get that one straight. Next up, only slightly worse than, or better than the First Order ATST there, we have the Clone Troopers versus Jedi, or Clone Troopers and it could be verse if we fast forward to episode 3, but Clone and Jedi battle pack here with the Mini Republic gunship build, which is actually not a terrible little looking build, but the 2 clone troops are nice, but then it's a battle pack, so you get 2 Jedi, which are not ideal for a battle pack. If you haven't figured that out, battle packs are about building your army, and I don't know how many people are interested in Ki-Adi-Mundi army, and I am definitely not one of them. Convex Transport set is a bit disappointing for sure from 2018. It has some nice attributes, it has some interesting building techniques, but it's nowhere near what we really see in the movie and the way it works in the movie. So I found this set to be particularly disappointing. Perhaps its best feature is the fact that it can hook up with the AT Hauler, which is actually coming up farther down on this list, or I guess up. It's a better set than this is on its own. So yeah, that might be the best attribute, is the fact that this works with another set. Nothing actually about this set. General Grievous Combat Speeder is up next, mostly because it's super overpriced. I understand that there's not much you can really spice up with a build like this, but for $30, you gotta be out of your mind, LEGO. So we got General Grievous and Mace Windu, great figures. Decent build, but just really expensive, and we'll continue the theme of being really expensive here with Snoke's throne room, and perhaps under-detailed. I was really hoping for some type of red curtain, but maybe that was wishful thinking before the set was released. Snoke is a decent figure. The figures in the set are actually really darn good. I can't argue that, but the build leaves a lot to be desired, to be honest, especially for the price. That's $70 for 492 pieces. Moving on, we have the First Order Specialist Battle Pack, which includes those 2 officer type, minifigs that nobody likes. Or not officers, but, gunner type figs. And you have this little cannon build, which is very reminiscent of the 2015 cannon included in the Senate Commando Troops Battle Pack. Not a bad build per se, but it's just something we've seen before. Moving on, we have the Imperial Patrol Troopers Battle Pack. The best thing about this set is easily that speeder design. It's an exclusive speeder design that I've never seen anywhere else in Star Wars. Also, the Imperial troops there are exclusive to this set, which is kind of nice as well. Like, it's rare that you get minifigs that are exclusive to a battle pack, I feel like, but it did happen in this case. It's happened in other cases. It actually happened in the set we just looked at, but it just doesn't feel that common to me to get exclusive minifigs in a battle pack. Next up, we have the Crate Speeder versus ATM6, and this is a really cool microfighter dual pack with a couple of actually great figs. In my opinion, you get an exclusive Resistance Speeder pilot and a ATM6 pilot who is not exclusive. I'm pretty sure he comes in the big ATM6 Walker set from the year prior. It also has the really nice little side build that gives you a nice little taste of Crate, so decent little microfighter dual pack. The better dual pack for microfighters in 2018 though definitely was Kylo Ren's TIE Fighter versus the A-Wing here. You get a very fancy looking blue A-Wing. You also get Kylo Ren's TIE Fighter with Kylo Ren, which is really nice. Sometimes they won't include the named character with the named ship, but in this case they did. Overall, great set, and you also get that little platform, which is decent, I guess. Next up, we have the Tatooine Battle Pack, which is a pretty confusing battle pack, but I've come to terms with this one as not being terrible. If you take away the battle pack name from it and the fact that you'd be trying to build an army of Jawas, which, hey, having seen the latest episode of Mandalorian, maybe that's not the craziest thing to have like 20 Jawas on your Sandcrawler, but still end up with an undesirable figure to have multiples of in the R2 or R4 astromech droid there. But the actual design of the build in this set is pretty fun. It's kind of like a souped up, modernized Sandcrawler microfighter. Like, it's definitely inspired by the Sandcrawler, which is pretty fun. It can pick up the astromech droid. You get the Tusken Raider included on the side. You can have him screwing around outside of the little Sandcrawler build. And then you get the 2 Jawas, which, again, having seen the latest episode of Mandalorian, wouldn't be too bad to collect quite a few of. The First Order TIE Fighter Microfighter is one that I think is really great as well. You get the First Order TIE Fighter pilot there, who has that awesome molded helmet with kind of the rubberized tube that runs down from the helmet to the torso. Gotta love that. You got some flick-fire missiles on the Microfighter TIE Fighter there, and of course the nice red, black, and gray color scheme. Can't go wrong with that. Slightly better than that Microfighter, in my opinion, is going to be the Millennium Falcon Microfighter. This one includes Chewbacca with his nice and normal bowcaster. It's got a couple of stud shooters built in on top. You have the rectangular radar dish, and very nice angling all around by LEGO on the actual build of the Falcon. Moloch's Landspeeder is up next, and other than the fact that it's just gray, and they actually worked in quite a bit of tan, but like in the universe, it's basically just a gray ship. It's actually a very well designed and very intricate build to me. Like, I actually found this to be a very engaging build. You can fit the Corellian Hounds into the side of this thing. It's got plenty of storage. You have room to put Moloch in the cockpit there. So I really liked this set. Also, the spinning stud shooters are pretty fun on the front there. So as much as this set just looks like a gray block, once you actually build it and have it in hand, it actually has a lot of life to it that I really enjoy. Next up, we have the Sand Speeder, not to be confused with a Snow Speeder. The Sand Speeder does have a little side build. You get a couple of awesome figures that are exclusive to the set. So definitely a weird LEGO Star Wars set in 2018, but still not a bad one. Like, it was one of those surprising LEGO Star Wars sets that came out. Next up, the AT Hauler, which I said earlier connects with the Convex transport, and that's what the little arms on the end are really for. But this one has a very interesting design where the wings can kind of go up when it's landed and then down when it's in its flying mode. You also have some awesome figures. The one that I feel like is really missing is going to be Dryden Voss, especially because you get a couple of his guards. So I just wish we had that Dryden Voss figure in this set, or maybe even as a polybag from the polybags and promos section of this video, but he just didn't exist, so that sucks. But yeah, it's a very awesome set from Solo. Moving on, the Sandcrawler, which despite its price isn't a terrible LEGO Star Wars set. I know that's surprising coming from me, as much as I disliked this set for the price of $140, but it's a nice compact Sandcrawler. It's got enough features packed into it to make it interesting for kids to play with, and it's also a decent looking model for display for adults, so you kind of win both sides there. Moving on, we have the Enfys Nest speeder bike set from Solo: A Star Wars Story. Tobias Beckett and Enfys Nest being the main minifigs included in the set. Got a little coaxium, which we also saw on the Convex transport set. These speeder bikes have quite a charming design, very different than anything else we've seen from LEGO Star Wars, and definitely a weird color scheme, but something that actually just works together for whatever reason. Really like these speeders. The Octu Island training set is really great because it's a nice cheap way to get a Porg, as well as a couple of main characters from episode 8, Luke and Rey there. But the actual Octu Island hut there, it's a really nice and clean build, and they added some stickers in there to kind of give you the perception that it's built out of like real bricks, but they only kind of half do it with only a few stickers, so it's just kind of subtle. So not a bad set at all. Better than Octu Island to me is going to be Yoda's hut. I thought LEGO did an excellent job bringing Yoda's hut to life. They had a previous version that came out in 2004 bundled with an X-Wing. This one is its standalone. You can have Luke swing through the sky on the rope. You have smoke coming out of the hut. You have a nice interior where you can cook. You can have Luke lift the box into the sky. You have the R2-D2 with the muddied up print. You have Luke in his training outfit. Like, this is the perfect set for Star Wars Episode 5 lovers, adults and kids alike. Next up is the Kessel Run Millennium Falcon, which is a really clean design. It has one thing that's really off to me, and that's the cockpit. The white on the cockpit just doesn't match the white of the rest of the LEGO bricks in the set. That is my only real complaint with this set for its time. Lando Calrissian, Han Solo, both really awesome figures included in this set, and it also has that full fleshed out interior as you would expect, and of all the Millennium Falcons, it's the only one to have the front escape pod. This might be a bit of a controversial choice, but I really really liked the defensive crate set here. You get the crate speeder, you get some awesome figs as usual in these LEGO Star Wars sets. Something about this set is just really charming to me, and I feel like this set for some reason is criminally underrated. So really enjoy this set personally, and so that's how it's so high up on this list, although we still have about 9 sets to go. Betrayal at Cloud City is going to be next. This might be the best LEGO Star Wars playset ever. I think LEGO learned from their mistakes with the Hoth set, which was basically a mashup of previous sets, and they came up with something that was basically completely new from the ground up with the Betrayal at Cloud City set here. You have so many different rooms where you can create so many different scenes, from the absolutely classic section of episode 5, which took place on Cloud City. So no complaints about this set. I know a lot of people complain about the price, but I felt like $350 was pretty fair. Next up is the Hoth Medical Chamber, which was a $30 set and was actually a very, very well put together set. You got Luke for the Bacta tank, you got Leia, and then of course the medical droid down there off to the left. I mean, this set really packed a lot into a small package and was something that episode 5 fans could definitely get behind when it was available. Very, very cool set. Next up is the Mos Eisley Cantina, which included Han Solo, Greedo, Woohur, and a Sand Trooper, which was great. Just awesome figure selection. The Cantina itself was a little bit small for me personally, but it did work well enough. The reason it was really small, I think, was because it did include the Ubrikian 9000 pod, which we have never seen in LEGO other than in this set, so that was a really cool exclusive thing to get, something that you kind of see outside of the Mos Eisley Cantinas. And for $40, it was a pretty fair value. Moving on, we have the Porg, which is one of the cutest or scariest LEGO sets of all time, depending on who you ask. But it's definitely an awesome set based on the Porgs from episode 8. He's got his little plaque, he's got the actual Porg minifig included, and then of course he can open his mouth and flap his wings. Moving on, Han Solo's speeder goes well with Moloch's land speeder, but is a considerably better set. Really enjoyed the design and build process of this one. It's got some interior space under the hood. You can also fit both Kira and Han Solo into the cockpit area. Anakin's Jedi Starfighter is up next. This $20 rehash of what we had only seen previously in 2008 was absolutely perfect in my opinion. I mean, this thing was so good. Included the Clone Wars version of Anakin and R2-D2. Couldn't go wrong with this set at all. The Imperial Landing Craft, it was another remake that we saw in the summer of 2018, and LEGO definitely did this one very, very well. It's a very well put together set. My only real complaint is the somewhat lack of an interior. It didn't seem to be fully fleshed out like it could have been. Just feels like there were definitely some design choices made that could have gone one way or the other that would have made me happy, but maybe some other people upset with the design. You can place characters in the cockpit, and most importantly, this build is just so solid and well rounded and finished off. Like the 2007 version was just, you know, a little bit chunkier, not quite as strong. You had trouble picking it up in certain places, so props to LEGO for really figuring this one out and putting together a very refined model. The X-Wing, perhaps the best LEGO X-Wing ever, bar the UCS one from 2013, included the new version of the Rebel pilot helmets, much to many people's dismay, unfortunately, but it did, and the X-Wing looked really sharp. So definitely no complaints from me on that X-Wing. Even better than the X-Wing, in my opinion, though, the TIE Fighter from Solo, A Star Wars Story. The only set you could get the Mud Trooper in, so definitely had to buy it for that. But this TIE Fighter is, again, the most, just like the X-Wing and the Imperial Landing Craft, the most refined version of its kind to date. I mean, it was an excellent model. I kind of wish I had more now that I'm looking at it. It's just so beautiful. And finally, the best set of 2018, in my opinion, has to be the UCS Y-Wing remake. I mean, this thing is just immaculate. It's got the perfect colors. It's got so much awesome greebling on it. It's got the perfect little UCS Y-Wing plaque there with all the information you could ever need to know about a Y-Wing. Well, maybe not all of it, but quite a bit there. You got the rotating turret on top. The cockpit can open to place a minifig inside. You can put your astromech droid inside the Y-Wing as well, or keep them on the stand. So the Y-Wing best set of 2018 for me personally. Let me know down in the comment section below if you have a different best set of 2018 than I do. Leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.